guys, and welcome to Color Readaville. It is me, Donna, and I'm coming back to you today with a little bit of a continuation of yesterday's Color and Chat in Jane F. Hankins' Our Friends from My Imaginary World. It's a great book. So, guys, without further ado, and at risk of getting a copyright violation, let's do it. All right, here we go. So we'll see how many of you actually caught on to the whole little thing there for an 80s, 90s throwback. Okay, so I've got my page here that I was working on yesterday, and I'm just gonna kind of continue on. And, I figured I'd do a little bit of this on camera. I didn't touch it anymore after the video yesterday. So I thought I can go back on camera and just kind of work on it a little bit. So how is everybody doing today? I hope you are all very, very well. I actually went to lunch today with my son, Michael, and that was really, really awesome. It was really cool to be able to spend some, one-on-one mom and son time with him. Caitlin, she is actually a school teacher, so she's at work today. And yeah, so, Michael wasn't working, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for us just to kind of hang out. I'm going to see him again this weekend. My birthday, happy birthday to me, is actually on Friday. I'll be, a lady never tells her age. No, seriously, I'll be 45. Ugh, isn't that horrible? Getting old so fast. And I'll see them then. But of course, this was going to get to be just mommy and Michael time. So that means a lot to me. I love my daughter-in-law so much, but it's also kind of good sometimes just to have that one-on-one time, with your kids. So that was pretty special. And I just figured I would hop on here and work on this image, just a little more on camera, since I had a couple people say they really looked forward to seeing how things turned out. So I thought that's what I would do. So anyway, thanks so much for the welcomes and the great response to my color and chat yesterday. I know that it got a little, I don't know, probably heated for some. I know that my views aren't necessarily the most popular views in the world, but they are my views. And thank you so much for those of you who shouted out supports and things like that for that video, even though I knew uploading it could maybe be a little controversial. But I'm just, like I said in the video, or in the title of the video, I'm so over it. It's just reached that point. And truthfully, when I was at lunch with Michael today, and, he knows I'm trying to get the channel back on the ground and moving again. Michael asked me, he's like, Mom, do you really think that you can, sustain, or do you think you can stand, a hit like that to put that type of thing out on YouTube? And I was kind of like, well, the bottom line here is it had been a year since I made videos. It can be another however many years again, if that's what it takes. If I get ran off of YouTube because of my convictions. So yeah, whatever. I believe personally, and I've been putting a lot of thought into this. I've went back, I've looked at older videos and things like that, and I come to the conclusion that I feel like you guys really enjoyed my genuineness and letting you guys, take a look into me and my personal life and the things that was going on here. And I thought, hey, if that's what they enjoy, well, that's kind of the whole reason I'm behind the camera, is to bring content that you guys can enjoy and will enjoy and will come back for. And, I'm here to build community and things like that. And I'm like, well, then you have to do that, to build that community, you have to give your subscribers what they're asking for. So that seemed to be a theme that I saw, was that you guys really seemed to respond well to my very personal type videos. So, Lord, I hope I don't regret this. I'm going to throw myself back out there, and I'm going to give you guys another insight into me and into my crazy brain as it is. Viewer be warned. There is no no promises on that. I may drive you crazy. You may need mental counseling after jumping into my brain. So anyway, that's me, and that's where I'm at, and that seems to be what my viewers enjoyed. And by golly, if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. So, where have I been in my life? I've actually been through a lot of issues lately, and I've been dealing with a lot of things, and I think it had a lot to do with why I stepped away from making the videos about a year ago. Things were starting to get a little tense. And yeah, they were starting to get a little tense in the YouTube community, especially in the color tube community. And I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I didn't really watch color tube for almost a year. I'm just now trying to kind of dive back in and see where everybody's at with that. But I really had to kind of separate myself from that because of all of my issues in my own life with my anxieties and my depression and all of that kind of thing. So I just had to kind of take a step back and say, okay, it's time for me now. And I know most all of it went on behind the scenes. So none of my subscribers even knew that there was an issue. And I wanted it to be that way because I didn't want anybody making judgments against other people and things like that. But I felt that it was in my own best interest for my mental health to walk away. And I did. And for a while, I even walked away from the Facebook group. And it just, I just needed that. I really needed that time. And I took it. And I'm glad I took it because it was much needed. And I had no idea the amount of stress that was about to be thrown in my lap. I mean, I kind of sort of had an idea, but I don't think I realized how bad it was truly going to affect me. And I don't know that I could have even made these videos when I was going through that time. I mean, I'm not even sure I could have effectively made these videos at that point. So I'm very glad I stepped away. As we all know, we talked about this yesterday, COVID-19 and all the craziness that ensued with that. And then everything that came upon us, after that as a country and even probably as the entire world. But you all know that, well, any of you that have been subscribers to my channel from any length of time will know that I lost my daughter on June 30th of 2015. It was an absolute blow. It was a completely unexpected loss. I had no clue that the last night I said goodnight to her would be it for like ever. And that was very difficult for me. And I've talked about that in many of my videos. Well, last year, actually, 2019, September 22nd, 2019, she would have turned 18 years old. And this year that just passed, during COVID, when the schools were closed last year and all of that, that would have been the year that she graduated high school. So that was a very, her 16th birthday was really hard on me. But then, of course, the 18th came around, and then the realization that 2020 would have been her graduation year. It was tough, especially with everything that was going on with COVID, because I have a lot of friends on Facebook, and a lot of these people had children Brooke's age, and all of these kids started graduating or was, going to graduate high school 2020. They were class of 2020. So I was seeing all these posts on Facebook about this should be my child's graduation, or this would have been my child's graduation, and things like that. And it really, I mean, I'm going to be honest, it had me so infuriated, you know? And I mean, I understand that people who have not lost a child, especially a child that lived a life and then, passed away, they're not going to really, there's no way they can possibly understand the enormous loss that truly is, and what that means, and all the things that you'll spend the rest of your, adult life saying, well, what would he or she have been doing now? Where would he or she have been in school? Would he and she have had girlfriends or boyfriends, or would he or she they would have been graduated? Would they have married? How many children would they have had? And that's just the things that you're left with when you lose a child that is older, when you suffer that loss. And that's tough. Okay. That's I've told you guys before that there's no greater loss I've ever experienced. I've experienced things in my life. I've lost my grandmother. I've lost aunts, uncles, things like that. Praise Jesus. I have never, I still have both of my parents for now, and I know that they're aging, but I never knew what loss was until the call came that day. And unfortunately, I wasn't present. I had went out of town for 48 hours, and during that time, she didn't wake up the next morning. She went to bed. She didn't wake up. I spoke to her that night. We said our I love yous and things like that. So I praise Jesus, and I'm so thankful that I had that moment with her. I don't know that I could have went through life without that moment. And apparently I've lost my camera. I'm going to bring it back up, but I'm still with you guys. I'm still talking. So just, bear with me. But that was a tough time. And it broke me in so many ways. And then, of course, from there on out, it was questions. And there was a lot of issues that, I went through, and things that I suffered during that time. And in many ways, I do believe that I came out a better person in that. But then again, I mean, it was tough. It was tough times. And there we go. Camera's back. So I'm kind of losing my train of thought because I was trying to focus on the camera too. But, as I was saying, I guess I made it through the initial loss, and it took a long time to even get to the point that I could talk about it. I mean, I can't begin to tell you guys how much I loved my daughter, and how much, I miss her even now, and it hurts to the core. And, then of course, 16th birthday, and then 18th birthday, and graduation, and to see these people saying these things about should have been. So if any of you are on my actual Facebook friends list, you saw that I made a huge deal out of that on my Facebook. And I was like, people, please, you need to get a grip of yourself and realize that it is your kid's graduation. It may not be what you had envisioned for this day. I get that. You may have had all these plans and everything else, and it may not be what you envisioned, but it is. It is your child's graduation day. It's not a should have been, could have been. It is. And, I'm like, my daughter, and I was very bold and blunt about it, because I've reached that point that I can be that blunt. And I was like, my daughter, she died. She's dead. Okay, dead. Never coming back, dead. And it would have been, and it should have been, Brooke's graduation year. But it's not, because she's dead. And I was like, I would give anything, and I mean this from, the absolute core of my being. I would give anything for it to have been where we were stuck at home, and where, you know, COVID was an issue, and where, um, we were dealing with a Zoom graduation or whatever. I would much rather that, other than the alternative that I got, which was no daughter. So yeah. So, that just really, it really hurt me. And I mean, I didn't get angry at these other parents. Please don't think that's what it was about, because it really wasn't. More than anything, and this is something that I've noticed since I lost Brooke, is that I want parents to hug their kids tighter at night. I want parents to acknowledge their children. When there was times when Brooke would come to me and say, "Mom, whatever," and I had these other things going on, and it would be like, "Well, in a little while," and sometimes a little while never happens. And those are like some of my biggest regrets in life at this point. Is, as a parent, I think you always think, well, there's more time, there's tomorrow, there's whatever. Well, guess what? There's not always tomorrow. Hug your kid, love your kid, do all you can do with your kid, pay attention to your kid, make sure your kid knows exactly how much you love them and how much they mean to you, because tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not a guarantee. And it's a lot of guilt, to live with later and realize what you feel like you could have done and you didn't. And I think we've all done that. I don't believe that there's a perfect parent in the world. I at least don't know of any that have ever, every time their child came and said, "Hey, can we do this?" They were like, "Oh yeah, let's do that right now. Oh yeah, let me read you the story right now. Oh yeah, let me sit down and watch this movie with you right now." Because we're so busy in our lives and things like that. And I don't think we even think about it. I really don't. And then, God forbid, the day comes and you receive that call, "She didn't make it." I'm telling you, I got the call that she was being taken to the hospital, and, they weren't sure what was going on, and this, that, and the other. And then, the next call that came in was she didn't make it. And that's that's a terrible call to get. I'm sorry, but my life stopped turning that day. And I've dealt with a lot of guilt. And, I've told you guys that I did try to commit suicide in 2017. And I think a lot of that had to do with, one, I didn't want to live without my daughter. And two, I think I was trying to find a way to process all of that guilt. So it kind of hits home and bothers me when people don't seem to appreciate what they have. And I know that it's hard to appreciate that, because I didn't truly appreciate that, until it was taken away. And, there's a song that dates back to, and maybe it's been rewritten or whatever, but it's by Cinderella, and it's, don't know what you got till it's gone. And if I listen to that song now, back in the day when I would listen to that song, I would think about, lost loves and stuff like that. But now when I hear the song, the first place in my mind goes to my daughter. You don't know what you've really got until it's gone. Because I'm sorry. Brooke was my number one supporter. She was my cheerleader. And no matter what I did, whether it was right or whether it was wrong, she was in my corner. And she was always there for me. And, I hope I was there for her. I hope I was a good mother. I really, really do. But, hindsight's looking back. It's what was that person to me when that person is gone. And, if she thought I wasn't feeling good, she was the first one to make me breakfast or bring me a cup of coffee or, all those kinds of things. And it meant so much to me. I mean, it did. And I don't think she even had a clue how much it really meant to me. And that kind of breaks my heart. But if I was really tired and I fell asleep on the couch, things like that, I would just wake up and I would have blankets and all this kind of stuff on me. And that was just kind of things that she did. I mean, that was just her nature. That was who she was. And she had so much love to give. And I pray that she knew how much she meant to me. And so I thought I had a grip. I really did. And I think I was starting to come to the conclusion that I didn't have a grip when I stepped away from YouTube, because I really thought I had finally gotten a grip on my loss. And, I've said this before and I mean it. You hear the old saying, time heals all wounds. No, it does not. It does not. If you sit down and you think on that, it hurts when you recall it just as bad as it did the day it happened. Time doesn't heal those wounds. What time does is it separates you from the event. It's as time goes on, you're able to see things other than the event, the trauma. But the trauma is still there. And when you do sit down and you do really focus and you recall that, you'll start to see that it does. Oh my God, it hurts to the bone. The same as always. And or the way that it always did. It's the actual pain never seems to go away. At least that's been my experience. And that's been my walk through grief. And it's been a very tough road. I have dealt with addictions to prescription medication. I've talked to you guys about that. And even though that was kind of done to me by the doctor, ultimately I still chose to put it in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? And that, of course, led to, all kinds of addictions and my attempted suicide. And I mean, I didn't want to live. I mean, I didn't. And then I had to deal with the terrible, and I mean, it is, trust me, terrible neurological issues and things like that was caused either from the extended use of those prescription medications or my overdose. We really don't know. I mean, we don't know. I was on these medications for almost 8 years and constantly given higher and higher dosages of these medications. So, and they're not supposed to be medications. They're supposed to be medications for short-term use. So it could be, of course, the fact that I had been left on these medications for so long. But of course, it could also be the fact that I took a massive, massive overdose of those medications in an attempt to end my life. And that was in 2017. And then after that, immediately, truly, after that, I knew that I didn't want to die. I wanted her back. That's what I wanted. I wanted my daughter back. And it took a lot of time on my part. And, for the first month and a half, 2 months after this overdose, I was bedridden because it was so bad. I was bedridden and I didn't have anything to do besides think truly, I was literally curled up on a bed in, or in a couch, actually. Well, not even a couch. It was a recliner, and I was there for almost 2 months. I couldn't lay down in bed, because when I laid down in the bed, I would have these huge convulsions that would literally throw me out of the bed. So I was stuck in this chair with these jerks and things, and I literally just laid with my face down for almost 2 months. Even the doctors didn't know what to do for me. They were saying that, at first, one doctor said anxiety. We did have one who thought it could possibly be a movement disorder caused from medications that I had been on. We all kinds of things. And then of course we had some that said, that seemed to think, oh, she's faking it. But I mean, when I went for my checkup, I couldn't even walk into the office. It was that bad. And when they handed me the paperwork to fill out, I mean, I was literally having to hold the pen like this just to get my hand to be able to write. It was terrible. So I had a lot of time to think during all of that. And I did come to the conclusion that it would break Brooke's heart to know where I had found myself. And I was very angry at God too, guys. I really was, because I had always been raised in a Christian home to believe, in God and everything. And I couldn't understand why in the world God would do that to me. It was like, what have I ever done to you, God, to, warrant this? And it was a tough time. But I did come out of that, and praise God, that I did. And I was able to, now, I mean, it's been over 5 years, and now I am finally able to say that I'm at peace with God. And I understand what happens. And I'm not angry at God anymore. I was able to find mercies in the things that happened. For those of you who are new to the channel, Brooke was actually diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 7. And then at the age of, I believe, 10, she was diagnosed with Asperger's, which is a form of autism. She had a little bit of an eating disorder, and she found it very difficult to make friends and to really relate to the world. And I think, I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think truly the more I look back at it, like now, I'm able to see things that, at first even I was still oh my gosh, you have no idea how angry at God I was. You have no idea. And as time progressed, that lessened. But now that I have seen what this world has become, just recently, I'm going to be honest, even at 19, Brooke would have turned 19 on September 22nd of this year. Just a few days away. My birthday's the 18th. Her birthday was the 19th. I'm not sure she would have been able to deal with what's going on in this world today as it is. She had a very hard time coping with the world that she lived in day to day. Which seemed to be a lot easier than it is even now. And it's hard for me to imagine how that would have been, So I think I found some peace and some solace in that. It almost kind of, and don't get me wrong, I want my daughter. And I hope, even the tears that you've heard, and that's so embarrassing to me to cry on video. I love her and I miss her and I want her, so bad. And I wish I could have her. But at the same time, I also know that, I do have a faith in a higher power. I respect everyone's faith, and I respect everyone's belief systems and things like that. I do have a faith in a higher power, and I believe that that higher power is much more full than I am. They can see all where I can see little, and I believe that in a lot of ways, maybe she was taken for mercy. She had expressed suicidal tendencies even before she passed away, and I don't know. It just breaks my heart, but at the same time, I feel like I know where she is now. I know in my faith where she is now, and I know that she is with her creator, and I know that she's happy. I have full faith and belief in that, and something I can't even say for myself. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the world we're living in. I can't even say that for myself. But yeah. Yeah. So anyway, to have said that, I mean, I know that I've kind of just ranted in this video. You know, I really have. I'm gonna work on this crown a little bit, and I'm not even sure what my purpose was here, other than to kind of let you guys inside a little bit and know what I've been going through, because this past year's been a struggle. I'm going through a lot, you know, even now, because, you know, of course, I'm still dealing with the grief of losing my daughter, and still, you know, all the crazy things that's just going on in the world. And you got to admit, it's crazy. Oh my God, this world's crazy. And it scares me and it worries me. And I don't know. But I have faith that there's someone much more powerful than me, in control, that's handling all this at a level that I could not even begin to imagine. And that's where I find my peace, and that's where I find my solace. So anyway, we made it this far today, and I was able to finish the dress and on that, and I still need to work a little on the crown, and of course do the fairies that's with her. I will come back and I'll do another color and chat, and we'll try to work a little bit more on this. But in closing today, I do want to share a picture of Brooke with you guys. Since we've talked about her so much in this video. This was taken just a few months before I lost her, and she was such a loving, caring person. And I dedicate this video to her with all my love. And yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I would absolutely love to have you here. I am going to start doing color and chats like this again, where I talk about all kinds of things that's going on in my life. Of course, I'll do color. I'll try to start doing some color alongs too, that is much more focused on coloring and not on my personal life, as well as reviews and things of that nature. So please give this video a big thumbs up. You have no idea how important it is to get those thumbs up on these videos. So give us a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment. That helps too so much to support this channel. There's links down in the description for donations if you would like to donate to the channel to help further along this cause, so we can do giveaways and things like that as time goes on. I really hope that we can have a good December. We've had 4 donations so far to the channel, which I appreciate so much, and those donations will be put into what I hope will be our a December thing, where we can give away several different things in December. That's going to depend on donations. So that donation link is down below if you do so feel led to do that. And we also have links down in the description to our Facebook group. I encourage you to come over to Facebook and join us. It's a fun group of people. The one thing I do ask is, when you hit the apply button, please answer the questions. The questions are there to make sure you know you are a human, and that your account's not been hacked, and that you do want to be part of that. If you do not answer those questions, we cannot accept you into the group. That's That's just something that Renee and I have both, kind of agreed upon. It breaks our heart. We have had to decline several people in the past week, and it's simply because, and the biggest thing is they won't answer the one question. Do you agree to follow the group rules? Easy question. So, answer those questions. We want to accept you. And I look forward to the next video. Until next time, guys, peace, love, and happy cutlering. Bye, guys.